With just a soft pencil and a ream of ordinary copier paper, you can discover or rediscover the delights of drawing in line and tone. First of all, we need to sharpen the pencil. I use a Stanley knife, and I have a soft drawing pencil here, so I must treat it with care. The knife is placed at an acute angle in order that I can take slithers off rather than great chunks and move it too strongly. And all I do is pull the pencil against the blade or push with the thumb, all on the left hand and not using the right hand at all. And then our pencil is ready to start drawing. First of all, I'm going to start thinking of where do I place the first marks. And this is often people's main problem. I usually start from within the group. I look for a shape between, and I mean a shape either between objects or between parts of an object, that will, by placing that one shape on the paper, allow me to have a lot of different objects in exactly the right position. As I start drawing, I am finding form, and I have started with one of the onions and the one that's nearest to the shape I want to start with. So I'm going back along the base of an onion and working down the side of a mushroom and meeting a carrot. I'm looking at the other side of the onion and relating the other mushroom and still working on that carrot. I have got now a shape between. It's not exactly a negative shape that one could go right through, but it's a shape of the cloth that I can see between the mushroom, the onion and the other mushroom and the carrot. It may not be at this precise moment exactly where I want it, but because my lines are wandering lines and finding form, if I want to change their position, I can. And I'm really going to feel my way round that onion. And by feeling, I am quite often following lines that I actually see because they are in fact the veins on the skin of the onion. In order to place things correctly in relation to each other, I need what I call drop lines, as well as my horizontal lines, to make sure that something out here is still on the same level as something back here, and that they relate to each other. So I'm beginning to draw a little bit heavier and working round to see where my drop lines are going to help me. This line is an imaginary line, but I can establish its position by holding the pencil up and just squinting at it to see what else comes in line with it underneath. I can hold the pencil horizontally and see another little shape, and actually by running a line across, and that is where I was holding my pencil, that's the pencil I saw, above that I can see the back of that mushroom, and I'm actually now establishing another shape between. But this shape between is between two objects and an imaginary line. But by doing that and keep looking and bringing my pencil back down, I can make sure that I've got it right. I then place the pencil above that line to see where it comes in relation to what's happening on another point where two things are joining. I call this a visual contact point, meaning that although from where I'm sitting it looks as if they're joined, if I were to walk round the side of the group I'd probably find they were quite separate. But that visual contact point will give me another drop line. Sometimes I just put them in knowing that I can use them later and not precisely at this moment. Here I've got my horizontal line and the visual contact point below. It's that little shape there that's so important, and I can check up again and see where it comes. That is going to give me the angle at which the carrot is sitting. Now I'll come back to this one, and I'm feeling my way round the mushroom, and I'm looking at a cast shadow. And I can bring the shadow away from the mushroom and place it around on the cloth and get the feeling of that shadow hitting the carrot. Immediately I do that, I'm tempted to start my finding out lines on the carrot so that I can get the feeling that that carrot comes round, the mushroom is flat, this comes round, and I have another flat mushroom over there. Now if I run up from here, still on this same drop line, and I look at it behind my pencil line, I notice that this part here doesn't relate entirely to the same thing up there. I've got to go back a bit before I start moving off. And this would give me a chance to put another drop line in, and notice how far back I have to come, and that this is on an upward gradient, and I look and find how high the top of the onion is there compared with where this bit would end. And this does actually end below the horizontal line that comes from the top of the onion there. Now this is my mushroom, and I'm beginning now to follow out and round and up. So that sometimes it's very helpful if you actually pass your line through another object, because this is only a rough drawing. That means I'm just placing things in this one. And I come out and look for another contact point, and I have a contact point where the onion is touching the mushroom higher up. Again, I could hold the pencil and notice that the back of that mushroom brings a drop line down at that point on the onion. So now I'm looking at this shape, in and up, and it's going away, and I've got a tone running down there. And this is taking me up to a line that's bringing me into that piece at the back, which is a little bit of terracotta, broken pot. Now I'm beginning now to place things in relation to each other. I can feel the form round here and bring that mushroom round. I want to know now where the contact point is, where the mushroom and the carrot cross at the back. So I again run a line across, and I notice that it comes that point above the base of that onion. So if I bring it along, it's got to touch there. And if it touches there, I know that I'm right in the position of that carrot, and I want to know how high to go with the carrot. So again, I run it along, and I find actually that the carrot isn't travelling uphill so much there, it is in fact flattening out. Now this is now helping me relate to the gills that are going into that main stem, and as soon as I start doing that, I'm asking myself another question: where does that part of the stem come in relation to the onion and to the carrot? It's all about relationships. So I'm lining that up again, and I see that that's where it starts. Now I can start feeling my way outwards, and I'm working with directional strokes because these are coming towards me and radiating out from that stem. These are going up away because that is the side of the stalk there, and I'm feeling them again radiate out this way. I want to know where the edge of the carrot comes in relation to this, and it's a very short stalk actually, and it's about there on the carrot. So it's only going to be there above it, and then I can bring those out and bring this shape. Now I'm looking at a shape between. I'm looking down the side of the carrot, and I'm looking at a dark shape here, which I might just put in as a shape, because it's that shape that tells me which angle to take that mushroom. And I want to run a line across, put the pencil in the air where I want to come from, run it across in the air, cut off the shape here that I see, so I put my pencil back there and run it back. And if that meets the line from there, I know they're still in relationship to each other. That means I can bring the other carrot up, and I'm talking to myself again saying, here is another shape between. And that shape now is vital. I'm thinking of the cloth coming down, and that is a pull because of the weight of this carrot against it. I want to know how high to go with the carrot, so I run the line across again, and it actually cuts off that sort of shape there. So if I do that, I know that I mustn't go any higher with the carrot there. And then I'm not going to finish it off until I've got other things to help me. I'm looking at cloth here, and the cloth and where it touches the mushroom comes opposite the top of this carrot. So all I do is run a line across, it touches, now I can take the cloth up. I'm finding a dark shape which I can put in as a shadow shape, and that's helping me now. And there's another tiny shape coming there, and I'm off in that direction. Then I have the point of the cloth coming up quite high here, and I want to see where it comes, and it actually comes not too far away from there. So that means I have got to make that go back a bit more. Otherwise it's not going to work, and it's got to come from here. So that has meant that I've got to really turn that mushroom back on itself far more than I originally had, and it probably means reducing that. And that'll give me my dark shape that I see now, and that'll take it back at the right angle. Now what can happen, and what is happening here, is that it then gets a little bit complicated because I'm correcting and moving. Now I don't advise using a rubber for any rough drawings. I'd much rather see where I've gone wrong, correct it with harder lines or areas of tone, and then just have a little talk to myself on the side to establish what it is that I have corrected there. And I would just do a little drawing on the side saying, that is the angle I want this bit to go at. Here is the shape between. There's my tone behind. I'm almost doing it in a diagrammatic way. There's the cloth being pulled back by that mushroom. There's the side of the mushroom coming round, and I've got the carrot coming out. And I'm beginning to feel what's happening there over on the side. Now, as this piece of cloth comes around, I'm seeing that it curves, so I start to put my thoughts down on the paper. And my thoughts are that if there was a little spider walking along here, it would walk up there and up, and it would go over the top and then down onto the other side. And so my lines would follow the form, and they're just my thought lines on paper and getting the shape of that cloth. I'm not trying to make it look like cloth at the moment. I'm only positioning it.